Hello everyone, this is Sapphire. Welcome back. Today we are going to be doing a in-depth 3Teen tutorial. I will show you all that I know within the 3Teen program. There are a few things I don't know, but I will share what I do know thus far. And yeah, I hope you will find this helpful. So let's get started. Okay, so first things first, I was addressed and asked to show what it looks like to bring a avatar from VRoid into 3Teen, so I'm also going to cover that really quick before we hop into the official 3Teen tutorial. So say you have gotten to a point where you have finished your avatar, you're ready to go, you will go to the last tab at the top right, the camera/exporter. You will go down to export on the left side, and then you will go back to the right side and click export right here. Again, you can do whatever you want here. You can name your avatar, Syed3, author, fill in all that information. You're good. The rest of it doesn't really matter. This is not mandatory. You can just export it as soon as you want. You click OK when you're done, and it exports as a .vrm, which I assume stands for VRoid, and I'm not sure what the M stands for, but you'll save that somewhere you can access it easily. I will save it onto my desktop. Okay, great. Now you have it exported, and you should be able to bring it straight from wherever you saved it right into 3Teen, and I will show you how to do that next. Okay, so assuming you already have downloaded 3Teen, but I'll show you just in case, you type in 3Teen, and you go to the 3Teen website, and you will scroll down, download the Windows version 1.55. For Mac users, I'm not 100% sure. I know there's some Mac users out there. If you are interested, let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do any Mac tutorials for how to get started as a VTuber. I haven't done research on it myself, but I do have a Mac, so I can try to figure it out. All right, so you get into 3Teen. The odds are that 3Teen is going to be in another language. So if you want to change the language to English, you're going to go over to the gear on the right side. You're going to go to this third top tab, System. Language is the very first thing. You won't be able to tell if it's in another language, but click the drop down and just click the second option. It will be the second option no matter what. Click on that, should change to English, save settings down here. So that's what it looks like in English, so you know where some things are to be able to fix that straight away. So before we go over any of these fancy menus over on the side, you're going to want to go to the 3 people icon first, because this is how you're going to get your avatar into 3Teen. So you're going to click on this plus here. You're going to search for that file that I talked to you about earlier. And like I said, I saved mine on my desktop. So there it is, Syatest VRM. You're going to select it, and then it should load straight in. I'm not going to click it right now because I don't want to mess things up, but go ahead and select that in, and then you should be able to switch and click on that avatar. So for example, Side just came in now, and I'm going to have to re-toggle and track her, but that's how you do that. So the first thing we are going to go over is the facial expression. That's the little happy face over here. You have a bunch of different expressions you can rotate between over here. And what you want to do with this is you're going to want to open your shortcut menu. You can now assign shortcuts to different expressions. So for example, sorrow. If I want sorrow to be 8, you can click on this little box here, and then it will be recording your keystrokes. So you can click 8. So that's 8. Now when I type 8, it will make me sad, sorrow. And this works as a toggle feature. So you can go back and forth between sad, neutral. The toggle state goes back to neutral. Same thing for joy. I already signed it to number 3, so I'm just going to click 3, happy, joy, and then neutral. So these shortcuts can be useful if you're just messing around in 3Teen, but if you want to be able to toggle these without having to be in these menus while doing YouTube or streaming, I would highly recommend you purchase a Stream Deck. That's the best way I found so far. I do have a tutorial as well about setting up a Stream Deck as a VTuber. Stream Decks are somewhat expensive, but I mean, if you are looking to take streaming and VTubing seriously, I think it's a great investment. So again, I will drop that link down below. Okay, so next we will be going over the move the avatar in motion little stick dude over here. So basically, all these things in white and gray are going to be just idle poses. So it's just going to put your avatar in a pose, which might be nice for like streaming or VTubing. Whatever you're doing, you might want to put your avatar in a certain pose. I go into the tuck and sit a lot when I'm like just chatting with my chat because it's a really cute just sitting pose. But you also have things in yellow, which is going to be anything that is a looping animation. These are really great too if you're having a conversation like this. You can see it looks like I'm having a conversation. If you don't have something to track your hands, this can be a really helpful section. This, much like the expressions, has a shortcut menu. These are in Shortcut 2. So again, this is a shortcut menu over here. You can go ahead and type in a keystroke for something. So I'm going to do pose flutter L. So I'm going to alternate between L. I keep clicking L and it will toggle me between standing, neutral, and flutter. And again, you can combo this. If I click L, and as you see, I have my sorrow face activated because I had 8 clicked down. So again, same type of thing if you want to do any sort of combos like that, and you can do that with a Stream Deck as well if you want to not be in 3Teen itself. Moving on to the next thing, we have display the effect. This is another thing, shortcut menu. You know how this works. I just talked about it. So these are different effects that you could have when something happens, or just to add a little bit of spunk into your VTuber. Again, there's a shortcut menu and you can go ahead and assign a shortcut key and again, combo a bunch of different things at once. For example, for something with comboing everything, whenever anybody subs or follows me on Twitch, I go, thank you for the sub. Bubbles are known as being a thing for when people subbles for bubbles. So again, maybe you can add some sort of really cool thing like that that will sort of rhyme with your channel or your theme or your brand, so you can just add a little bit of personality to it. Okay, we will move on to the next thing. We already talked about avatar section. Save scene, camera angles, or do the reading. I don't usually use that, so I'm not going to talk about it. Next is set the background. So you have 3 different options here. Standard is the one you see now, which is not really needed for much unless you want this background. Custom color, if you want a green screen, you have that there. If you want a blue screen for some reason, you have that there. Remember, green screen, you can drop other stuff, but that's not necessary if you're using something like slobs. So you can just go to transparent background, and I will be doing a tutorial later on how to set your VTuber up in slobs if anybody's interested. But yeah, so basically this is the main one you want, is transparent background. The other one you can do if you're taking pictures or anything is image. So you can go to image and you can add images from wherever on your PC. And for example, this is one of the things that's sort of attached to my brand. So I have this color as a background. And again, like here's like a little cafe scenery if you want to have some sort of really nice environment to just add an atmosphere to your character. All right, so next we've got our other than avatar, place a 3D object. This is really good if you want to set up a sort of atmosphere or a room where your character lives. I believe you can move multiple objects around in 3D space. That's a whole nother thing. Again, we can do a tutorial for that if everyone is interested. Display the memo window. Not sure what that does. Never used it. For this one, camera and recording, these are both to take a picture directly from 3Teen, and this one is to record directly from 3Teen. So you can go ahead and click that. You'll see it'll save a screenshot. Same thing for recording. It will do the same thing. For this, I don't know if it's the same on everybody's computer, but if you click the screenshot, I would check, you go to your desktop and then you go to your pictures, directly to your pictures folder, and there should be a folder that says 3Teen, and in there should be the screenshot. And for video, the recording, it should be in your videos folder on your main drive. Same thing for pictures, on your pictures folder in your main drive. All right, moving over to our toggling tracking on and off. This is where you're going to start the tracking system. So you have your webcam, you'll click start, your lip sync, you'll click start, and your body operation. That's if you have leap motion. I don't have it, it's turned on, but I don't have leap motion right now. That's a whole nother thing again that we could always talk about another time. However, so sometimes when you start recording your web camera, it will load and it'll get all weird and it won't work, and it'll be like, no, this is not right. So if it's not right, just unplug your camera and plug it back in and click stop and then start again, and it should work. I've had that a few times. That's the solution that solved it for me, is straight up just unplugging my camera and plugging it back in, and then everything should work a-okay. Next, we are going into the adjustments, avatar adjust. So first is settings. This is the whole leap motion thing if you have it, so you can just skip over that for now if you don't, or if you do, go ahead and try and figure it out. Face tracking type, web camera, it already knows web camera type. This you can select from your multiple. For example, I have a Vive, a VR system, so if I wanted it to track from my Vive for some reason, I could do that. And so there's all your drop down. Make sure you choose the correct camera to be recording from. Webcam startup time is how long it takes for your webcam to load in. I wouldn't really touch that. Lip sync, audio, you can do, or face recognition. I've found better success with audio, that means every time it hears me talking, the lips will move. My face recognition doesn't work that well because of the way I record. It doesn't always get to see my whole face, so hearing me is better. So this just depends on your situation, if you want it to read how your lips move via your face, or if you just want it to move based on an audio read. So lip sync voice input. This is going to be where you choose which mic you're using. Again, here's all my options here. I'm going to choose my main microphone. Lip sync start time is the same thing as webcam. You could probably just ignore that for now. Really not all that important. Go ahead and click save settings there. So next we are in our face section. You go from settings to face, reset webcam position. This is going to be really important. After you start toggling your face and everything, you're going to want to reset most likely because it won't start off right. So go ahead and look into where your camera is that you're actively using, and you will click reset webcam position, and it should make it so it's tracking correctly based on where your current position is. The rest of these are not super important. You can mess with these settings. Head reaction is basically, and same for head sensitivity, it just says how quickly it reacts basically, and how much. So if you want to be super bobbleheady, look at how much my head reacts. I'm just tilting my head a little bit right now. If I want it to be a lot less, like barely moving to my neck, then I can toggle that way low. Body sensitivity, lateral head, all those are mostly leap motion things. Eye hold threshold, I'm not exactly sure. Blinking, if you want your avatar to blink like every few seconds, not even few seconds, like milliseconds, you can turn that way up. If you want it to take less time in between, you can lower that down. Mouth sensitivity is for how much you want the mouth to stretch while you're talking. Again, you can mess with those bars to sort of see how that works. Next, we are going over face tracking, general, so how to reflect. You can do mirror or synchro. Mirror is going to mirror directly what you're doing. Synchro is going to be opposite of what you're doing, which is kind of weird and kind of trippy, but I prefer mirrored. But again, that's up to preference. Make blinks at regular intervals. This is like a whole different set of timers you can do with your blinking if you want to customize that. Disable blinking if your expression is something other than neutral. Again, you could do that. I don't know why you'd want to. I would highly recommend keeping on your blinking because it's more natural, so your avatar doesn't look dead inside. Visual expression, transition time, if you want to delay or something. Again, most of these are pretty like self-explanatory once you explore the left side. Input gain, this has to do with mic settings. Again, you don't really need to mess with that. That's stuff that's just not really that important. So again, you're going to save settings. Those settings are changed. Great, let's move on to body. So next we're going to go to body. Use standby behavior. Basically what this means is every time you're not doing a whole lot with your character, they will do a idle/standby animation. It's kind of like when you're playing a video game and a character just starts stretching because you're not moving them. That's the same type of thing that happens here, but you do have to be actively working in 3Teen itself. So these are all the different animations that you can choose from, which are back on that page we discussed earlier if you want to see what they look like. You could do a turn kick. That'd be pretty aggressive, but you could do it if you wanted that to be your idle animation. This is the seconds in between the animation. So hey, if I'm not doing anything for 15 seconds, then I will start doing this animation. Front and rear position, all this different stuff in leap motion. Again, we're not going to discuss because this is not a leap motion tutorial. And these, again, don't really matter. Character angle, if you want your character to be starting at a certain angle, this can control that. So next we are in the other section. We went over to other avatar license information. This is all the stuff. If you want to go back and edit the license information on your character, you can do any of that here. Next is MTune. So these are different shaders. This kind of changes the appearance of your avatar in 3Teen. So you can do a shift shader. This kind of brings the shadows in and lessens the highlights. Kind of, you know, dark and scary. Maybe you'd use this if you're telling a horror story for Halloween, even though Halloween is definitely over now, but you still could tell some Halloween horror stories. Toony, this is how cartoonish you want it to be. So it's less realistic shading and more flat shading and rendering. So if you want your character to look a lot more comic booky maybe, or cartoony, that's a good setting to use for that. Lighting, this is how much light is affecting your character, and you'll see, we'll talk about again that later, but here is where literally no light is hitting your character. This means, okay, if a yellow light is hitting my character, she is taking all the yellow light right now, but here she might be taking less yellow light. Shadow, that's how much you want your shadows to be seen. See how my hair is dangling over my shoulders here? If I turn that off, there's really no intensity in the shadows. If I turn that up, you can see the shadows definitely a lot more. This outline down here doesn't really matter. You can ignore that for now. Save settings. So we're in settings now. This is when you go ahead and click the gear. It will open your settings. We already talked about shortcut 1, shortcut 2. Let's talk about system next. So language we discussed here. These are a bunch of different languages. I'm doing an English tutorial, so I chose English. How to use leap motion. Again, this is if you have leap motion. We will skip over that for now. Recording behavior is, do you want it to echo your microphone input? So I can turn. Oh my god, that's loud. I can turn that. I can turn that on. Now I hear myself echoing, and it's delayed, so it's really hard to talk. Okay, so that's what that does. Face tracking when 3T is installed. This is not important. You can just ignore that. Frame rate, use vertical sync. This is just like the rate at which your avatar is playing back. Again, not really important. Don't really want to mess with that. Resolution, this just changes the resolution, just like in a game when you can change how big you want your screen. Mode, mine's in windowed right now, or you can turn it full screen if you need it to be full screen if you're recording. Quality, mine's in ultra. This is, maybe you don't have as great as a PC, so you need to go down to lower, but mine's in ultra because my PC can handle the extra shaders and shadows. Virtual webcam, you can also ignore that, not super important. Other, automatically hide the menu bar. This I have because when I'm streaming, I don't want the menu bars to come up while using my transparent background, so that's how I hide those. So that can be really helpful if you're a streamer and you don't want people to see these bars along with your avatar, so you just go ahead and you check automatically hide the menu bar. Do not show tooltips. There's different tooltips that'll show you throughout the program. I have that off because I don't need that right now. If there's an update displayed at startup, that will have like a little pop-up if there's an update in 3T that you need to know about, and it'll tell you stuff. Mine is checked because I do want to know updates. Forced drawing flag when loading model. Also not exactly sure what that's about. Haven't noticed what it does. Always take measures against flicker. Also not exactly sure what those two things do. They're beyond my knowledge, but again, probably not super important. Again, now you can save settings here. Next is light source. This is like my favorite one ever. So you can do 2 different light sources here. I usually just use one. Again, you can use 2. Go ahead and experiment with it after I show you the first one, but you can disable your light source, have no light source. I think light sources are epic, especially if you have really cool backgrounds. You can play into the color theory there. So what type of light source do I have? I don't know. I got a sunlight. I don't think there's any other ones right now. You can only do sunlight, which is cool because we could still change it. Where do you want the sun to be coming from? Again, you can rotate the sun. It's as if it's in a 3D world. Y and X is, I believe, side to side, or X is up and down and Y is left to right. Color intensity, this is like a whole little color thing. If you want your lighting to be red, you can go there. And for an example, so we're in like a bluey orange world right now, so maybe I want to go with like this blue tone. See how this puts my character way nicer into the background? It sets her there. It feels like she's actually a part of this world. That's something you're really going to want to use a lot if you like to switch backgrounds and talk to your chat or talk to somebody via using different kinds of backgrounds. This could be super helpful for that. You can play with that. Light intensity, this is going to say how intense is the light source. You know, is it darker or is it just blaring? It doesn't even matter what color it is. It's just so bright. Shadow, you can change your shadows to have harder shadows or softer shadows. So you can look under my neck and see what that looks like. This is like more of a pixelated shadow because it's hard. Soft makes it diffuse and look a lot nicer, again, in my opinion. Shadow on floor, you can't see it when you're in these other backgrounds, so I'm not really sure. I think if you have a 3D world, like I was talking about earlier, if you do other than the avatar, place a 3D object, then you might want to have your shadow on the floor. And if you don't want it for some reason, again, you can take that off. So there, you can save settings and that should be good to go. All right, so for camera, we're just going to skip over camera. All this stuff, again, it's really not that important for, you know, getting started. So recording, if you want to record directly from 3T, you can select where the video saves out. Again, I'd recommend doing somewhere you can easily access and you can just move the video later, so maybe your desktop or maybe the videos folder on your main drive. Screenshot, same thing. So these are just saving your output sources. So again, earlier, like I was saying, if you don't know where these screenshots and stuff are saving, go into your settings here and go into recording and check out like where it's saving. If you took some real bomb screenshots and you're like, dang, I don't know where those went, well, now you can figure out where they went. So next is info. This just talks about all the different things that I have, what my PC is running, and I could copy it if I wanted, I guess. And this is what version I'm on. So that's just extra info. Again, not super important, but it's there if you need it. So next we are going to be doing reset the position. This one doesn't really matter. It will reset your avatar if you need it to and send her back to the middle. Again, not always super important. This one is moving your avatar on a left and right, up and down 2D space. This is your mover for left and right, up and down. This is your mover for 3D space. So you hold down right mouse button for both of these for those who are confused of how to move your avatar in a 3D world. So you'll have to alternate back and forth between these, and it'll take a little bit of practice before getting used to, but don't worry, you got it. So next, this is a webcam reset. You don't have to go all the way into your adjustments and reset your webcam position. You could just click this for like a quick reset. And then this is face tracking. So you can turn this on, and basically this shows like how it's tracking my face. It has the dots lined up because this is the auto tracking system. So if you want to see how that's working, you can go ahead and look at that. And then this one is for if you have Leap Motion. Again, I don't have Leap Motion, so I don't have that. And this just opens you up to their website and gives you additional information that you might need. But yeah, so that's pretty much all you need to know about 3Teen. There's some other stuff that you can just mess around with if you want that I didn't go super into, but hopefully that helps you out. If you guys have any questions, any concerns, any comments, I want this tutorial, let me know. I'm going to be hopefully getting out more videos regarding VTubing and helpful tutorials because you guys seem to really like them and I want to help you out. So if you got any questions, let me know in the comments because I will answer your questions in the next videos. So again, my name is Sapphire. If you're interested in my content, I do stream over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Sapphire, SYA Fire. You can find me there if you have questions. You can add me on Discord. There's all sorts of places to get in contact with me. Again, though, if you have any more questions, please leave a comment so we can address them to help everybody because I know this whole VTuber thing has been really great so far and everybody's been very excited about it. So I hope to be able to help you in your journey so that you can have a successful VTuber career and so that you can grow and learn how to use these programs to the best of your ability. But yeah, have a good one and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.